Hey everybody, this is Robot here from Vespa Motorsport here in San Diego, California. The exclusive dealer for both Vespa and Piaggio scooters. So if you're a follower of my channel, you probably notice I mostly do videos on both modern and vintage Vespas, which is the name brand scooter everybody kind of knows, kind of like Kleenexes to tissues that you blow your nose in. Vespa kind of, it's the same kind of word as like a motor scooter, Been around forever. The parent company, Piaggio, has also made a line of lower cost scooters, typically plastic bodied scooters, ever since the 90s. And here in North America, a couple of those models are brought over. If you look at the prior video that I did, I covered the prior generation Fly 150 scooter. It's a 150cc scooter that's sold here in United States. The first generation Fly was sold from 2006 all the way up to 2012. Starting in 2013, when Piaggio debuted a new 3-valve motor, this was one of their first scooters to have that new motor, and this scooter, just like the prior Fly, had a 6-year model span. So it was sold from 2013 all the way up to 2019. So now that we're in 2020, the scooter's been discontinued and pretty much replaced with the Liberty 150. Liberty 150 is going to be a little bit taller scooter, has the larger wheels, much newer, and it's a little bit quicker. It has a slightly different tuned motor. So that's pretty much the difference between this and a Liberty. You can watch some old videos I've done on the Liberty. It's a scooter I like quite a bit. It's my second favorite Piaggio scooter, VV350 being my favorite. Actually, I like some of the 2-stroke ones they don't bring here, but I'm not covering that today. This is the Fly 150, so if you're researching used scooters, I want to talk about this scooter, its pitfalls, its strong points, and what to look for, and all the features found on the second generation Fly 150. So it's February 2020. You can check out our website, vespa.everywhere, and see our used inventory. It's always changing. I'm talking on a weekly basis. We have this scooter for sale. It's one of our least expensive scooters on the lot. I hope somebody gets it. I think it's going to be a nice, reliable scooter. Got nice accessories. Check us out. So starting from the front, first of all, the scooter is accessorized. Out of the box, when these were brand new, not out of the box, but out of the dealer showroom floor, they never came with a windshield. This scooter has got the tall Piaggio windscreen, which is great on cold weather. The only pitfall of this windscreen is it catches a lot of glare from the headlight. I rode this thing home the other day and I added this cheesy black tape. So if you're gonna ride one of these scooters and have a tall windscreen, just keep that in mind. Otherwise, it functions great on these bitterly cold San Diego nights. Gosh, it's like 45 degrees, I can't handle it. Moving on to the rear, just like the prior Fly that I did a review on, you can see the link for the video for the prior generation Fly, has the Piaggio top case. Pretty much identical top case, and color match to the scooter in pearl. Doesn't really use a rack. It pretty much comes with an adapter plate that mounts it to this cast aluminum grab handle that's found on the second generation Fly. All right, enough of the accessories. Let's start from the top of the scooter and move down. So just like the standard Flies or the first generation Fly got basic instrumentation, this one's got more miles on it. If it's an early model, it's gonna have a kilometer speedometer like this. The very last models, they did go to miles per hour, so keep that in mind. I'm not sure why they did that. Probably because the rest of the world goes by kilometers, but they didn't want to retool a miles per hour speedometer. Keep in mind that's not 18,000 miles, that's 18,000 kilometers, which is, I don't know, like 10,000 miles, something like that. Basic instrumentation, speedometer, fuel gauge, clock, that requires like a little clock battery behind it to keep it going. Got low oil pressure, a check engine light, because this scooter is fuel injected, so if there's a fault in the fuel injection system, that light may indicate that you have a problem. It's got a low fuel light, a high beam indicator, and a turn signal indicator. And unlike the prior generation Fly, it just has one indicator. It shows if your turn signal indicators are on. Moving on to the controls, you got these pretty cool looking Tuono mirrors. A lot of people with the Vespas will buy these style mirrors because they're more reminiscent of a sport bike and they want to make their scooter look sportier. A rear drum brake, just like the prior generation Fly and pretty much all the 150cc Vespas. High beam, low beam with the passing, a turn signal switch with a push to cancel, low horn. And moving on to your right side, it's got the emergency kill switch. Typically, I just recommend leaving it in the run position, which is to the right. Keep in mind if the scooter's not starting, you may want to look there first. It's got a hydraulic disc front brake, the same setup as the prior generation Fly, same caliper that's found on the Primavera and Sprint, which this scooter is related to. And you pull one of the brakes. The scooter comes right alive with the fuel injection. It definitely starts a lot easier than a carbureted version. Moving on to the tires. Just like the latest Primavera and Sprint and the prior generation Fly, they rock 12-inch tires. Super common, super easy to find. Those tires are the quality Pirelli Angel tires. They'll last quite a long time on this scooter. The scooter's been used a little bit more, unlike that first generation Fly. It has like no miles on it. So you can see a little corrosion on some of the components, pretty typical of a San Diego coastal scooter. They don't salt the roads here, but there's salt in the air from the ocean air coming through. Moving on to these pair of lenses. In all other markets, these are turn signals. For the United States, they're just running lights. Underneath this cover is how you access the battery. I'll just get to the point. It's a pain in the butt to change a battery. If you look at my battery video from like a couple of years ago, I show how to access the battery. This is one of the hardest ones to access for the Piaggio line. If you use the scooter regularly, it's not something you're going to need to service, but say if it goes dead, plan on having a couple different screwdrivers to get access to that battery. Moving on, behind the leg shields is a glove box, not quite as large as the prior generation Fly. The key works like all other Vespas and many Piaggio products. It locks the steering. In addition, you push it and it will open the glove box. You can see there's very little room in here because the battery is located underneath that cover. We did add a battery tender lead, kind of makes it a little easier, but there's a small pocket on the right-hand side along with the VIN number to the scooter. Moving just below the glove box is the fuel door. The fuel on this model is carried very low in the floorboard, which is a good design for a scooter. Kind of brings the center of gravity even lower, especially with something like a liquid that sloshes around. It's always a good thing when you have fuel carried low in a two-wheel vehicle or a car or anything. Uses a key to lock the gas cap, just the basic gas cap. Holds a little bit less, I think, when compared to the prior generation Fly. But keep in mind, this fuel injection motor gets better fuel economy. So I would say the range is pretty much on par with the prior generation Fly, as long as they're ridden similarly. If you're riding at full throttle everywhere, of course it's not, the mileage is going to suffer. Flat floorboard, just like the prior generation. I love that as when that's found on many scooters. I think it's a great thing to have a flat floorboard. It's got passenger pegs that fold out of the bodywork made out of aluminum. Just the basic looking muffler. In addition to the standard center stand, the second generation Fly includes the side stand, and it's got a safety switch so you can't start it. It locks down. This works like a bicycle kickstand. Definitely more convenient than using the center stand, but a nice addition to the scooter. That's not even found on the expensive 150cc Vespa, Primavera, and Sprint. You may not have a good sized glove box, but underneath the seat, you have quite a generous storage bay. That's much larger than any of the 150 Vespas and larger than the prior generation Fly 150. And that's unlocked by your standard ignition key on the left side of the seat. Moving on to the rear, nothing special for the lighting, just the basic pod turn signals and an incandescent bulb for the tail light. Engine, pretty much all the components, with the exception of the fuel injection system, are shared with the Primavera and Sprint, so it's very easy to get parts for this, and I suspect you'll be able to get parts for this for many years to come. For the most part, a very reliable motor. This earlier fuel injection system is a little more problematic. I'll tell you the story about this scooter, actually, because I like just being truthful about everything. We took this as a trade-in for a customer who wanted a BV350. He loves this BV350. Well, a new customer bought this scooter. He was very excited about it. And he says, oh, it cuts out every once in a while. So, 18,000 kilometers. It's a 2013. It's got a little bit behind its belt. Well, I took it out. Sure enough, you warm it up for a while, it fails. And we did a full service on it. It's all ready to go, serviced up. And I discovered the computer that controls the fuel injection has some hiccups. And I found those early magnesium rally ignition systems had some problems. So I had to replace the computer in the scooter. For the most part, there's plenty of customers riding these things. I haven't really had to replace any other ones in local customer flies, so I don't know if that's just an isolated case. But we put a used computer in this. The customer that owned this scooter for a month pretty much, or 2 weeks, he said, I want the security of having a warranty. It's 2020, we were discounting the last of our 2019 new Fly 150s. So he bought one of those, and it comes with a 2-year factory warranty. So sometimes used bikes aren't for everybody. As much as most people are very happy with their scooter, we were happy to take this back and resolve the problem, but he loved this scooter so much, he went on to get a new one with a warranty, so he feels a little bit more comfortable about owning this scooter. Again, like I said, that fuel injection problem isn't a common issue. I do see the oxygen sensor, much like on a car muffler, those sometimes go out. And just like anything else, you need to do services as per the mileage. They do state you can go a little bit further between the services on this, every 6,000 miles versus the prior model Fly, you're supposed to service it every 3,500 miles. Keep in mind, every service interval is a little different. But other than that, they're pretty rock solid, rugged scooters. There is a cylinder kit for this if you do want to hop it up. Performance-wise, it's pretty much on par with the prior generation model. It's not quite as fast as the Primavera or Sprint or the Liberty. Those scooters all use the newer fuel injection system and have a revised intake system on it, and they perform a little bit better than the Fly and also the 946. Believe it or not, the most expensive Vespa uses the same model engine as the least expensive 150cc Piaggio scooter. Kind of funny. It's kind of like saying, I got a pickup truck, baseline pickup truck with a Corvette motor, or you got the Corvette with a Corvette motor. So something kind of neat to be said about a budget scooter. It has the same motor as something that costs over $10,000. Granted, that motor is pretty slow in the 946 if you've seen any reviews on that scooter. Absolute beautiful scooter. Enough about that scooter. This is the Fly here. You could find these typically on the used market. I would say, considering 2020, they're anywhere from 7 to 1 year old scooters at this point. Range in price, I would say, for one that's kind of beat up but still in good, perfect order, maybe $1,500. All the way up to one that's in primo condition. You shouldn't be paying more than $3,000 for one of these used. This one right here we have in our used lineup at Vespa Motorsport. Now that it's got a brand new ECU for the fuel injection system, it's priced at a reasonable $2,000, considering it's got the accessories such as this large windscreen and the top case. Both these accessories, when they were brand new, they probably retail for a little over $600. There are aftermarket accessories, a few of them available for the scooter as well. So a major plus of the Generation 2 Fly is the low seat height. The seat height on the scooter is a good inch lower than any other Vespa product or the prior generation Fly. I don't know the exact seat height number. I'm sure you can Google it. Just for instance, I'm a 5'7" person. You can see my knees are bent. You can be a lot shorter, and I think you can comfortably ride this scooter. So keep that in mind. Then again, if you're a tall guy, it might feel a little cramped. One thing about this scooter is the floorboard's a little bit higher than the prior generation Fly, considering it's got a fuel tank located underneath the floorboard. In addition to the storage, it does have this hook that pulls out. It's pretty nice. You could put a reusable grocery bag or even just a regular grocery bag, put 2 of them right there, get it home. And that's a kind of nice, convenient feature. Whether you stumbled across this video and you're an experienced Vespa enthusiast, or you're just searching around for inexpensive scooters, hope my video kind of covered some of those points. Maybe you're a motorcyclist and want to go over to the dark side of scooters. I recommend it. I love my motorcycles, but I ride my scooters way more. They just make more sense in the city. That's all there is to it, especially considering the storage and the nice protection with the leg shield and windshield. Until next time, maybe I'll do the next video, an in-depth review of the Liberty. I actually had a chance to ride a demo Liberty. I rode it in Mexico. Dirt roads, water crossings, almost a foot deep of water. Maybe I'll get some video footage of it. It was pretty fun. It was quite the shakedown for a new scooter. But it was fun times with it, and my opinion of the Liberty changed drastically after I rode it for about 200 miles this last weekend. So look out for the next video in about a week covering the Liberty. Hopefully I get some footage of crossing a river with it successfully. Robot here from Vespa Motorsport here in San Diego. If you're looking for parts for Piaggio or Vespa scooters, check us out, scooterwest.com. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Tons of videos on servicing scooters like this, or if you're in the area, want to get service, check us out. 3955 Pacific Highway, pretty close to downtown San Diego. Until next time, see y'all later. Robot here.